Yo, are you the kind of person that wants to get back into or start working out but do it consistently? And or have you thought, well, I think the mornings can be useful, but I'm just not a morning person. How do I do this? I'm gonna tell you. But first, let me go through my history. Uh, I played football in high school. There were summer workouts. I fell in love with working out way back then, and actually it was before that because I wasn't in high school yet, and I was like, well, my older brother was training, but I wasn't, so I was like, all right, push-ups and running. I'll just do that. Then when I got to football, very intense. The workouts were either at 6 a.m. or 2 p.m., and you learn quickly in Florida over the summer. I was like, I trained at 2 p.m. once, and I was like, never again. So I did this. I had to do the 6 a.m., but my sleep schedule kind of fit accordingly. There wasn't as much internet back then, and you know, I didn't have a job back then, so I was able to take naps. But I was going to bed early. When I got to college, I was free, quote unquote. So my training was all over the place. There were days where it could be the afternoon. Sometimes it was seriously at night. They closed at midnight, and it was like right up until then. I don't recommend that. But my last year, for some reason, I think it was just because I wasn't training with anyone. I started doing training in the morning. I didn't even have to go anywhere. My classes didn't even start that early. But the crowd was much more disciplined. There was a lot of, older crowd, ROTC. So the atmosphere was different. And when I got done, I felt great. Moving on after that, when I wanted to just lift, I had to go to a CrossFit gym, and they had certain times for their classes, so I had to fit my life into that. And one of the time slots was morning, so they had a 6 and a 7 class. So I was like, well, I think I had classes again, college classes. So I was like, well, I better get there if I want to make this happen, and I made it work. Now moving on, I had when we had our first kid. Luckily, we set this up before the pandemic, but we had our first kid, jobs. And even though I work at home, I was like, well, what am I going to do? What do I do? Fit it in at lunchtime? But, notifications from work happen after work. I don't know, because then the kids come home and they were/are young, and it takes a lot to kind of keep them away. But, with the kids home, it's like between work being done and kids going to bed, that's them. And then what? Am I supposed to train at night? I don't recommend that. And I didn't write this down, but it's when you train at night, when you train at all, your body heats up, your adrenaline goes up. Good luck going to bed after that. So my only option, my only option, and I guess for guaranteeing consistency, which is what I do now, is to go in the morning. And I wrote about I titled this "Training Myself to Wake Up Early." But honestly, when you just rip the band-aid off and wake up early and then do the setup that I'm about to talk about, you have trained yourself because you're kind of setting your biological schedule to start early, and then you start getting sleepier at night. Fancy that. So how do you do this? All right, first of all, you set some goals. Okay. Uh, I am a big fan of that because that determines your training. From there, you find a program that you jive with. The next step is if you have kids, okay? And all these videos are for, busy adults, probably have kids. You need to sleep train them, all right? If they're super newborn, you're going to have a hard time. When they get older, they're probably going to be tired anyway because they're in school and you're probably having to wake them up for school. But in that little middle period, toddler, I made a video on this before, but honestly, if you, this was my past self, if you have to rock them all the way to sleep, or they wake up and you have to start the routine over, or they're waking up early in the morning, you need to settle that because it's just going to interfere with what you want to do. there are ways to, sleep train your little kids. Um, you just need to figure that out because you need to have this block of time in the early morning to yourself. Okay. After that, figure out pre-workout nutrition. Some people are fine fasted. Some people need a little food in their tummies. Set that up at night if you do. I do like a liquid thing. I hate to say that. Liquid meal, like a protein shake, some fruit or something. Figure that out. Get your workout clothes. I don't know what number I'm on. And I say that, the workout clothes part, because you don't want to be digging through your clothes in the early morning or deciding what to wear then. All this stuff, like the food, the clothes. Um, if you can set that up at night, and it'll probably take you seriously 5 minutes, your future self will be happy because then you're like, oh, thank goodness, I know exactly what to wear. Just put it on and you go. This last point, I just wrote bed. You need to go to bed, okay, at a decent hour. The entertainment is one thing, like I guess video games and movies, but people's phones, don't bring them to bed. And then as adults, if you have kids, you probably in your mind have, all right, they should be going to bed at this time. Why don't we do that to ourselves as adults? Huh? You should probably be going to bed at a decent time. Let's say you need to wake up at 5. You should probably be at least heading to bed. That means no more phone, no more blue light. Around 9, at least heading to bed at 9. Okay. Probably asleep by 10. Or if you can fall asleep by 9, that's even better. I can go on a rant about that, but seriously, that's the training to wake up early part, is to make sure you're just not like having this free, oh, I'm free. I get to do whatever I want to do until sleep time. Just go to bed at a reasonable time. And then for your actual workout, start small, okay? Smaller than your ego wants to. If you've been out of it, or if you have been trying the midday afternoon time slot and you're moving it to the morning, you need to kind of cut those expectations down. Do what you can, and you'll build back up. And as you go along, just keep fixing things, change things around until you're consistent with this and you have a good flow. Now, there are arguments like, well, you're not as strong in the morning. It's fine. Okay. So I have to think about my niche here, but it's like older, busy parents / adults. If you haven't been in the gym in a little bit, if you haven't been working out consistently, how strong you are in the morning compared to the afternoon is irrelevant. Okay. You showing up at all will work. Your body will adjust. And just think of it, I'm a nerd. If you're into Dragon Ball Z, the hyperbolic time chamber, maybe not. I don't know how to, but it's like you have this, you're kind of training under a tougher condition to where if you had to train in the afternoon, you'd probably be stronger. And you're like, oh, cool. All this training in the morning has kind of paid off. And I was kind of driving with my foot on the brake, but now it's like, oh, look how strong I am. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. Long story short, just do it anyway, because you're going to feel great the rest of the day. Okay. Doesn't matter how you feel in the morning. You will adjust. Trust me. And especially if you just are responsible and go to bed on time. So that's it. I think the thing that will guarantee literally anything you want is just you being consistent. It doesn't matter if you show up for, like let's say you wanted to learn an instrument. If you think you need like hour-long plus days of learning, probably not. If you can guarantee, though, 10 to 20 minutes a day, you repeatedly doing that, let's say you actually had a song to learn, it's going to inch by inch move you closer to an end result. And I think in this modern day, as we get older, there is a little something called willpower. And if you don't know, it's like your ability to resist a temptation. Okay. For this, it's the temptation to just not work out. And the problem is that if you nothing that you go through in the day is passive. If you have a rough day at work, if your kid doesn't want to put their clothes on, if you have to literally decide what you want to eat for lunch, that's slowly draining your willpower. When is your willpower the freshest? You're not going to want to hear this, but it's in the morning, because what do you do at night? You're like, oh, I'm drained at night, and you want to sit down. That's because you've had a stressful day, and your body and your mind are trying to recover. So if you go to sleep and you've turned that time slot to the morning, you're going to be like, have a full night of sleep, you haven't eaten, you're kind of detoxified. You have less ways to talk yourself out of it, and then you just go, okay? And this is why people, if they have any other task, not workout related, it's called eating the frog. You wake up early and you do it so you don't talk yourself out of it. So if you want to be consistent in this, now we're talking about training, turn that time slot up in the morning, okay? I guarantee you it'll be more productive than the last hour of your day, right? The first hour is more different than the last hour, okay? So that's it. I want more people to join me in the morning, even just train at any time. But like if you're like, oh, I don't have time, analyze your night. Seriously, what are you doing at night? Bite the bullet and wake up early in the morning. That's it. That's the combination. Thanks for watching. The newsletter is in the description. Subscribe and all that stuff. If you have any questions, ask under this video. Okay, fuels my content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.